And hello, everyone who is going to be here. And I want you to know that no matter where you're at, I would love to have comments. I'm Natasha Venter, and I am one who listens to the universe of love. I'm a medium, intuitive personal awareness life coach. And welcome everyone who wants to come and make a great comment because I am here to help you. So with that I am one who is going to be talking about today, as I'm live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. A lot of times on Instagram if I don't have a guest. And if I do have a guest, you can catch me on my YouTube channel, Natasha Venter, AngelicClarifications.com. And with that I love to interact with those that are who are watching my show. And so with that I'm live on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So if you are on Twitter, I'm going to mention this a couple times, that I some reason don't get comments there. So if you would like to go to my YouTube channel, I would love for you to like or subscribe to that channel so you know when I update videos. Sometimes they're on Instagram, sometimes they're on Facebook, sometimes not. And so with that you can get my YouTube videos there. And I do a lot of short little videos, and many times on my platform on on Instagram and Facebook, I do inspirational quotes daily. Not necessarily on the weekends, but I don't do Friday and Saturday, but I do Sunday through Thursday. And as I go through and do that, I want you to know that no matter where you're at, I love to support you. So you can be somewhere halfway across the world, and I would love to do that. I do private sessions. So with this, today's conversation is going to be about, my camera's kind of got all wonky today, so I apologize here while I rearrange. I wanted to talk about, I know so many of us, our minds run like crazy, and sometimes it's hard to sleep, right? Well, I just went through a moment where life kind of took over and kind of interacted with my sleeping. That didn't, I was like, what the heck? What the heck? And I know that I have other things that kind of interrupt with that, but I wanted to talk about the things that it's not about the physical pain that a lot of us are in at night, that, or our bladders that don't want to work right, or, those kinds of things, that I wanted to mainly talk about how our mind, like if we have a very stressful day, how does our mind keep replaying over and over what we're going through? And later in the show, I wanted to kind of make a little segue here. If you stick around, I do card readings on Wednesday, about the 30 mark, or the 35 mark of the hour. So with that if you would like to get a card reading, I would grateful if you would put in, I don't want to say a question, but just say I'm interested. But what I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the show is about how does our mind navigate when we're going through high stress, or when we're coming up on like a job interview, or we're struggling with a personal opinion. Sometimes when we're going through life making a personal opinion, that many times when we're doing personal opinions, what's the word, our mind just says, why do we have to say that? Why did we say that? Why didn't we say that? Why couldn't we do this? Why couldn't we do that? And so many of us, our minds control our lives anyways, right? So many of us, our minds control us, with self-talk, self-opinion, self-knowing, and it's just amazing how we go through life and we let our minds rule our world. We got other parts of us. We've got our digestive system, which actually has a mind to it. We have our heart, which actually has a mind to it. And so if we listen to those other things, we have more balance. And if we listen to our higher self, which sometimes is our mind a little bit, but it's not. It's a positive conversation. Our mind, when we know it's our mind, it's usually on the negative side, or like on the picture that I don't know if you see on Facebook or on Instagram or on my YouTube channel, you'll see the mind on a treadmill. Because I just had to have a picture of a mind on a treadmill because that was perfect. How does our mind keep running, right? And thank you for coming forward on Instagram. I appreciate that. So with that when we're going through these moments and knowing life, that we're hello Carolyn, welcome on Facebook. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being here on Instagram. Our mind likes to run, and I know that so many of us, even the simplest things can trigger our mind to start running through old patterns of doubt, self patterns of unknowingness, of just those things like, why in the heck did you do that? Hi Veronica. Welcome. Hi on Instagram. So hello Bev on Facebook. Welcome everyone. Welcome. I am so grateful that I have you guys to be a part of this team, because I want to hear your comments on how do you stop your mind from running. And a lot of times it's not really running when we're busy. It's not running when we're through the day, but it's times like when we're doing dishes or laying in bed or um, doing those things that are quieter. Meditation, maybe. Our mind just keeps running. I know for me, I struggle with meditation because my mind, it can't stop. And I love to have guided meditations, but a lot of them go too slow for me, in my because it's like, if they say we're gonna go to the woods and we're gonna da 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 da, and I'm already in the woods, because that's who I am. I I'm a very me being dyslexic, I picture things, and it's like I'm so used to going right there that they're too slow for me. So but my mind likes to go, right? So I wanted to kind of give you some examples of how to work with your mind. Hmm, How do you work with your mind? Well, I can tell you it's part of the team, right? But when it gets out of balance, when a team member gets out of balance, right? So you can put this as human aspect. We're at work, we're doing things, and usually if our co-workers work really good together, and all of a sudden one takes charge and likes to say, this is how it's going to be done, this is what's going to happen, blah, da, 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 da. Or your teamwork is working wonderfully, and all of a sudden your boss comes in and rearranges your whole day, right? Well, that's what the mind likes to do. The mind likes to do that. It likes to be in charge because it's used to being in charge. Well, we're coming into a time in our life where the mind is going to have to be part of the team, not part of the control, because the universe is actually asking our heart and our digestive system to be a part of the guidance to our system. So Carolyn on Facebook, thank you very much at night I pray and it helps me relax and fall asleep. It's like self meditation. Oh, I like that. I like that. So you pray. That's a great way to go in. And I can tell you that is part of my networking too, is that I do a conversation. So I'm going to use that as a segue because of the fact that we're going into this moment where we're going to have to find a balance of our minds working together. Well, there was one teacher that I had. She's a wonderful, gifted person. And was told by her guides to have a situation. And this is kind of an interesting prospect. I want you to kind of get this idea that if you sat down each of your body, spirit, or soul. I'm going to call it, because spirit is a little different, but your soul. So your body, your soul, your your mind, and your emotions. That's the guys that I wanted. So if you had all those sitting down, your soul, your mind, your body, and your emotions, if you pictured them all sitting around a dinner table, what kind of conversation would they all like to have? Right? Well, I can tell you that when I did this, my mind was the first one that wanted to talk. La da 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 da, right? Imagine that, right? So what I ended up doing was having a talking stick. It could be a bean bag. It could be whatever. Well, you don't want it to be a bean bag because you don't want your emotions to throw the bean bag at somebody else, right? So with that, taking this, and imagine them all sitting around a dining room table. Well, if one has a talking stick, the others have to listen. And I can tell you that going around the round table, and sometimes I let my mind talk, sometimes I let my emotions talk first, sometimes I let my soul talk, because the soul knows the bigger picture here, right? And the emotions sometimes get pushed out of the way. No, we can't deal with that right now. We don't want to deal with that right now. We're not going to deal with that right now. I don't want to have that emotion right now. Well, I can tell you that when we're interacting with all parts of us, our soul, our mind, our emotions, and our body, that when we're working with all of them, it's amazing who and what they like to say. Now, part of this experience, it is like a meditation, and I'm going to call it that, but it's where you kind of have this image, and you can be the one who's sitting a fifth chair there as a human being there, right? But you have them all sitting there, and it could be even your mind. Your mind could be there. Your you know you can have each of them be there in their person, and the emotions can be kind of like this cloud. It could be whatever you want. It could be Joe, Peter, Paul, doesn't really matter, right? It could be Sabrina. It could be a dog, it could be a cat. It doesn't matter what your emotions are. Just have them sitting at the table. And I can tell you, when I went around the round table, it was interesting how my body would say things like, hmm, you know, I'm trying to speak, but nobody wants to listen to me. And my emotions said, I'm going through a really hard time right now, and I just would like to be heard. And the mind would say, well, you guys are below me. You guys don't know any better. I know what to do in life. And all of them kind of said, we have opinions too. Can you listen to us? And the mind being able to listen, it gives it more of a balance through everything, right? So try this sometime. And try this at one of your quieter moments, like let's say before you go to bed or something, and sit maybe two of them down at a round table at the table. Maybe it needs to be your body and your emotions sitting down. And then your soul and your emotions sit down together. And then you add one in, and then you add another one. But I want to let you know, you got to let them all speak. And the reason I know what they're saying is the first thing that pops in my head. Because the mind wants to tell us everything else, right? But no, the first thing that comes to you usually is something that is truthful. It is a part of you that's speaking. And it's that part of you that does not get bombarded. But if you wait any longer than maybe a millisecond of what's being said, a lot of times that's where the mind likes to take control, right? And we're talking about mind control here. Mind control, mind control. Mind control. Does the government have mind control? Well, I can tell you that mind is part of that individual, body part of our mind control. We're being controlled. So if the mind says, body, you shouldn't hurt, or you're hurting too much, we will maybe sometimes go beyond pain, right? And not listen to the body. And or like our digestive system, our body, our mind will say, I want to eat ice cream. I want to eat ice cream. Well, the body, like if I was to eat ice cream, the body would say, dairy, uh, nut allergy. But if my mind wanted to control it, it would say, do that. I want ice cream. Well, sometimes the mind doesn't always do what's good for us, right? So, with that when we try to do things and our mind wants to control. Now, like I said earlier, being quiet is the time when our mind likes to speak louder, right? So with that I love Carolyn. Thank you very much for saying that. You at night you pray, and that helps me relax and fall asleep. It's like a meditation, and I would so agree with that. Let me get something here. It is so that. Where do I have it? Do I not have it with me? I don't have it with me. Okay, so there's something that I do that helps me, and I do pray. First off, I pray, and I do say something like, okay, mind, body, spirit, I want to stay with my body tonight. I want to stay with my body tonight, and I want to have a relaxing moment. And this is one of the keys that I say. A lot of times I say this. Whatever I did today is what I did today. Whatever I'm going to do tomorrow is what I'm going to do tomorrow. I can't fix what I did today, right? I can't fix what I did today. Sorry, my camera here it moved. So with that I say, I did the better I could today. Mind, do you agree with that? I did the better I could today. I can't redo it. I can't fix it. I can't go back and fix it. So we're going to have to put up with what I did today. Right? So with that, I say that in a prayer. Okay, body, mind, spirit. I am grateful we did it today, but I did my better, and I know I didn't do right, but I did my better. That helps my body and mind to say, okay, I did something that wasn't quite fitting quite right, but yet I can acknowledge that I didn't do it today. I didn't do it the way I wanted it to. So with that, or like many times when we have an email, right? We get an email that triggers us, and those emails usually come in right before the night, and sometimes we want to reply to that email right away. But from what I have learned is that you pause. Right? You pause before you reply to something so that you're not going to react, right? Well, in the midst of that, our mind likes to run. Our mind likes to run. What should I say? What should I do? What should I go for? I want to say this. I want to say that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, the one trick that I do a lot when I am ready to do something is a lot of times I put the email. Well, I speak a lot into my emails just because of the fact that and then I need to proofread them because of the way that it takes me so long to type, for one, because of my dyslexia. But what I like to do is that I like to write it down first, right? Write it down first. So at least I'm getting it out of my head and out of my body. I'm getting it into a physical interaction. And that's the thing that helps our mind get out of things, is that, it's kind of like on a repeating tape. A lot of times our mind goes, but if we take it and bring it down into something else, right? That many times we can get it to focus and move out of that circling. So with that I like to write things out. Now, one thing that I had one of my students, we were walking in the morning, and she goes, "I didn't get much sleep last night because I was so anxiety ridden over something." And I go, "You know what I do? I have a notepad by my bed. And even if I just sometimes I just write down what my brain is thinking. Now in the morning, do you think I can read it? No, but that doesn't matter. I just write things down so that my brain can at least relieve some of that stress. Now, a lot of people don't like to write things, but it's one of those, oh, Carolyn, thank you for being here as long as you have. And next time, if you want a card reading, please come and get a card reading. 'Cause in another like 20 minutes, I'm going to be doing card readings. So I am grateful that you're here. Thank you, Carolyn. Uh, so with that writing something down can help. Now, one thing that I have done many a times when I have something that is really bothersome to me, but I know that it's out of my control. It's out of my control. Is that I have like a box, right? It's a box. And I like to put things, metaphorically, it's a box. If you can see, it's not really real, but it's there, right? And I open up the box and I put what is bothering me in that box, right? And I can tell you that this box, when I close it, I give it over to the angels. I give it over to somebody else. Well, a while ago when I was going through my husband being an alcoholic or, different scenarios that came up, many times I didn't know I had that box. But you know what I did? Okay, do you know these Lord of the Rings, when those big eagles came over the mountain, right? Well, this was a couple years ago, and I still use them sometimes when I just need things to go away, is that I have these big eagles that come over and they land by me. And as they come over, they're huge. But as they come to me, they get smaller. And whatever is circling around and around and around and around and around in my head, right? That as it's circling around and around in my head, I put it in a bag and I give it to the eagles. And then they fly it over the mountain. They fly it over the mountain. Now, sometimes, as minds do, they like to bring things back, right? Well, put it in a bag, give it to the eagles, fly back over the hill. And about 15, sometimes it was like 10, 15 times that I would do this. But what it did was it was a metaphorical way of releasing. And I love those eagles because what do eagles stand for? The bigger vision, getting those moments where spirit can help out, loving light, can help. The angels are attached to the eagles, and so they're helping with that transformation, right? So there's a couple ways there. So you're writing something down, having something metaphorically that can take those thoughts from you can help. Another thing that I like to do is that, and I know that when I just went through something where my mind would not stop, and it was about 3 nights where I was waking up at midnight and going back to sleep around 4:35. So it was something that my mind was really working on, and because it was undermining my integrity, it was calling me out on something that I didn't know I was doing wrong, right? So it was really hitting my core, right? So there's many things that I do. Now, I love rocks. 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 Right? I love rocks. I'm going to say it again. I love rocks. I found this pink selenite. It's calcite. Sorry. Pink calcite. And it was of the moon. Because I struggle a lot of times with the moon like full moons, new moons, and that kind of thing triggering me, and then my mind starts working. So I work with this pink calcite and I put it to my head and I say that I'm asking for you to guide me and help me. I'm asking for balance. I'm asking um, for grace and ease coming into this new energy. I'm asking for light, love, and this one actually sits right nicely in my neck. So I love to work with the stones to help me. And the moon, being the moon, it was more focused on that intention, right? So I use stones. Golden Healer is a great one. I have a bigger one that I sleep with. The Golden Healer stones, it really helps to add calmness to ourselves, right? So using stones, amethyst is another good one. Amethyst is actually, I just read, dark amethysts are really good for helping with headaches too. So when we are having these moments where our mind is running and running and running and running with, I need to do this, what should I do? Make a list, get it out of your mind. Get it out of your mind, right? So now, at this moment, that wasn't working. The writing things down wasn't working. Doing a meditation wasn't working. Because sometimes when I'm tired and not working and I'm not doing really well with sleeping just because of body or something like that, that I go into kind of a meditative sleep where I ask my everything just to be calm and rested, so that when I need to wake up in the morning, I can go into that deep breathing, graceful sleep, right? So with that even then this moment wasn't working. Well, I do another thing where I do a technique, and I wish I had that piece of paper here, but I don't. It's over there. That it's about different emotions and different mindsets. Actually, I think my cord is long enough to go over there. So I will be right back here. There we go. I knew I had it close. I knew I had it close. Thank you for that patience there. So I do where it has different emotions and different fingers represent different bodies parts. So like the thumb is about the stomach. So our stomach is upset. Spleen, kidney and bladder is the first one, your pointer finger. The middle finger, liver and gallbladder. And guess what organs represent emotions? Liver and gallbladder. Well, it's the finger. The ring finger is the lung and the umbilical cord, or the umbilicus and diaphragm. And then the ring finger or the pinky is the heart and small intestines. Well, each finger represents an emotion, right? So the thumb is about worry. And the first finger is about fear. This one is easy to remember. It's about anger. So if we're angry with someone, right? The ring finger is about grief. A lot of us are going through grief, and some of us are angry because we're in grief. And the the pinky is about confusion. About confusion. So I can tell you that I'm going to show you real quick here, just so that you have this. So if you ever want to look back on this video, you can pause it right here and look. So as we're going through life, I do this. So what I do this even helps me sleep a lot of times, go to sleep, is that I hold my finger here, right? And it's not a hard hold, it's a gentle hold. So you start holding when you're going to sleep, you hold your finger, and then you hold this finger. And it could be for a minute, 2 minutes, whatever you feel is right. It could be this finger, and then this finger, and then this finger. So I usually take about 3 minutes with each finger, 5 minutes with each finger, depends on what I'm doing. So by the time I get to my thumb, now when I first started doing this, I would have to start over again and do my fingers because each finger represents an organ. So like I would wake up, actually I got to do this too because I wake up at midnight every night. And so I'm going to look at what organ it is, right? So as you're working, as you're holding, it moves the energy. So if you are, and it helps that organ to work better. So if we're having problems with that emotion, I'm going to call it grief. We're having problems with the grief, right? And our lungs, it's hard to breathe. We're having a hard time digesting our life, right? Because of the large intestine and the umbilicus and the diaphragm right in here, right? And we get in that indigestion, right? So that's about the grief, okay? So if I hold that finger, if I'm in grief, it doesn't stop the body and the emotions going through it, but it helps it move through. It helps it move forward through it, right? And so I hold those fingers when I'm going to sleep or if I wake up in the middle of the night. And that helps my body and my emotions take control of my mind, right? Well, I can tell you that this 3 day section, that didn't work either. You know what helped it to do? Well, going back to this table situation again, my spiritual team, my higher self, the dragon that I work with, my angels that I work with, my guides that I work with, my inner child that I work with, my dyslexic self that I work with, all my spirit guides, they sit at a round table, like King Arthur's round table, which I love, because nobody's better than anybody else. So my dyslexic self is just as empowered as my dragon, my elder, right? So as we go, and this is where, like, if I get new guides, new inspiration, new guides, they can come in and be sitting at the round table and know the team will fill them in on what we're doing, right? So this night, I decided that I was going to bring my mind to my round table. And I can tell you, as soon as my mind went to the round table, I can already feel it changing in my mind already. Kind of got a little dizzy there for a minute. That as I went in, I found out that she was in awe of what was knowing the bigger picture, the greater picture. And I had my talking stick ready so that she had to be quiet because there was one time where she needed the talking stick and everybody else talked before her. And that was the only time that she got quiet. It was coming to the round table where everybody meets. And yes, my mind is usually there, but sometimes she likes to go off on her own and take a walk. And I have to bring her back in to the round table. And doing that helps my mind to be a part of the team. And going there brings in, now, not everybody has to have a round table. It could be a campfire. It could be where, it could be a bus. It could be wherever you want your team to be. It could be at the base of a rainbow. I don't care. That's your story. It could be in a VW Bug. I mean, it doesn't matter. They'll fit anywhere, right? But it's a place where gathering, our team can gather. It can be on another planet. Metaphorically, it's better to have it with us. Like my round table sits in me, with me, around me, so that my team is always here because I am the center of the round table, because I'm the one doing this work on this world, right? So with that, bringing your team together, it's amazing. Because of the fact that when we bring our team together, our spiritual team, our guides, our angels, our dragons, our deities, our inspiration, our muses, whatever you are interacting with, when they come together and sit together and talk, and everybody is just as important as anybody else. Because I even bring my past lives forward. because I had a schizophrenic past life. And there was one time where I wasn't concentrating. And so I did a meditation real quick on finding the reason, and came up with schizophrenic past life. Well, they sit at the round table too, because of the fact that many people who have different ways of thinking can move through different situations differently. And I needed help with that. So there again, came out to our strength, our stronger self. And as we went forward and as we go forward, that going into that moment where our worries and our emotions and those kinds of things, they end up being a part of us instead of controlling us, right? Well, when we're doing this hand situation, there's something in the center that's called harmony. Harmony. So what you do is you put your hand and you embrace the back of your hand, and the thumb goes across where your lines are in your hand. And then you cradle your thumb. So you're cradling one hand inside the other, right? And when you hold, and your thumb, you want it to be kind of in the center of your palm. So this one is like this, okay? And when you hold it like that, when you start getting in tune with your body, you'll notice that your body will kind of go. It brings a harmony. It brings a calmness. It brings a moment of, but it's not a hold. It's more of a gentler hold. So try these different aspects if you can, with moving forward in when your mind is running, because your mind is part of the team. And so I'm going to go back to that round table where you sit. You sit your mind, your body, your emotions, and your soul around this round table. And you have a conversation. When you start going and finding balance with everybody, I can tell you that you're going to have a better conversation with all of them. And you're probably going to notice that your emotions are going to have a little bit more say, which doesn't mean that they're going to be screaming and yelling, no, but they're going to want to say, sometimes I want a tear run down my face, or sometimes I want to crack up laughing, or sometimes I want to be a little frustrated about something, and that's okay, right? It's okay to be a little frustrated, but there's a time and a place for everything. When we let our emotions have a say, then we can say, can you wait just a minute? I have to make a presentation, and then I'll freak out afterwards in the bathroom, okay? So then they don't want to freak out in the middle of your presentation because you're letting them have a voice. And that's what's important is that everybody needs to have an equal voice, or an equalish voice. Because there's sometimes where the body, like when I twisted my ankle, that it needed to speak louder than the mind and the emotions. There's sometimes when I was going through grief, losing my family, that my emotions were speaking louder than my mind and my body. And my soul is a part of the ride because it knows greater than I. Well, I'm also going to say that the fluorite energy, the fluorite energy helps balance, takes chaos and brings it back to balance. So that's another, and I like the fairy because I work with fairies. So they kind of have me with chaos with that energy. So with that, going forward and doing that we're always going to have our mind have problems, but there's ways of working with it. Write something down using stones. Each one has a different application. Having your mind be at the round table, both of them, with the dinner table, or at your main area. Another thing is find a way to let it go. Put it in a box, metaphorically. Let the birds take it away. Do whatever you can do to process through this. Okay? So I hope that this helps you in the moment of where you're at. Hello on Instagram again. So we've been talking about how the mind can run away with us, right? Well, I'm kind of past that right now. So I'm just going to go into, I always like doing this at the end. So is there any questions or anything you'd like to put in about the mind running? Because of the fact that this is a conversation and good conversations help. When we're working through life, our brains are always wanting us. And a part of our, what I just kind of I want to say too before I get off this topic is that many times we have to check in who is in our brain. Who is in our brain? Isn't that a concept? Who's in our brain? Because I can tell you a lot of times when we are in our life that our parents are in our brain. We're not even in control. What we've heard on TV or Instagram or our friends are more in our brains than our own truth. And so with that, remembering that you have your own truth, you have your own mind. So make sure that you say, okay, like if it's my mom talking, Mom, you can be out of my brain. Here, angels, here, birds, here, box. I'm going to put my mother in my box so that I can be my greater self, right? So I do hope that that helps you when your mind is working and going through something. Because I know, Veronica, that you've gone through something major and your mind is probably processing it right now. And I've held you in love. Bev, I hold you in love too. And I hold many in love because it's the easiest thing for me to do because we're all struggling with something. We're all struggling with something. And I know these people who are on Facebook but Instagram, I apologize. I don't know you as well. So at this point, being the medium I am, the intuitive personal awareness life coach I am, I love to bring out, remember fingers. I like to bring out my cards. Excuse me, I'm going to cough here. So if you would like a card reading, please say so. Okay, so I'm going to bring out my fae. They want to come out. The magical messages of the fairies by Doreen Virtue. Another one is the wisdom of the oracle cards. They are like the bear. They have different paths. They may have angels. They have where's an animal? There's an animal. They have different ones. So go ahead and say which one you would like. And when I do a card reading, I'm asking you, as I say your name, to hold an intention so that it can help you, the cards connect with you. Okay. Thank you, Natasha. Fairy deck for me. Two fairies. Okay. And I wanted to say that the path of the soul is going to come out too. Path of the soul. So you may change your mind. So I'm going to just do 3 decks. I have more decks, but I think that these are the 3 that want to come in. Okay. So the path of the soul, the wisdom of the oracles, or the wisdom of Avalon, and the fairies. Okay. Veronica, did you change your mind? Or did you want to do the path of the soul or fairies? Okay. So I'm going to start with the fairies. Okay, so Veronica, would you please put your intention out there for me? What would you like me to say? On Instagram, if you are wanting a card reading also, I can definitely do one for you. I don't need to know you. I can just hold the intention. So please. So it's Path of Soul, the Wisdom of the Avalon, or the fairies. The message from the fairies. Okay, so Veronica, this is for you. Oh, there we go. Starting to feel the connection here. Starting to feel the connection. Yes, feeling the connection. What do the fairies want to tell Veronica? For her asking. Want to be shuffled up. I guess I didn't clear them very good. Okay, so actually this one right here. So she got assertiveness. So what that says is stand up for your beliefs and only say yes if you really want to. Stand up for your beliefs and only say yes if you want to. And look at the light. Look at the light of the loved one there. She's standing in her power. Do you see where her light comes from? It's not the mind, even though the mind is getting inspiration, right? The mind is getting inspiration. But her power comes from, trying to get not. The power comes from the heart area. The heart area. Okay, stand up for your assertiveness. So I'm going to read assertiveness here. I'll read the little bit that she says here. Assertive. If I could spell, I would know. Assertiveness. Stand up for your beliefs and only say yes if you really want to. One reason why the fairies are so happy is because they're assertive with each other. This trait is very different from aggression, which denies the rights of others. Assertive, in contrast, honors everyone's rights, including your own. Assertive people are easy to get along with because they're always known where they stand with them. You always know where you stand with them. Your current situation calls for you to be assertive. Speak your truth with love and let go of unhealthy old communicational habits. Additional meaning with this card. Read books or take a class on assertiveness. Don't do anything out of guilt or obligation. Ooh, that's a big one. Be good role model for others by practicing this trait. Say no to this request. Be true to yourself and values. That's pretty good. Assertiveness. I think, and if you don't want a card reading, but you want to listen, there's something in these cards for everyone. So if you do not want to speak up for card reading, there's a message for everyone. Okay. So now Bev wants also the fairies. Okay. Sadman 85, are you interested in getting a card reading? I can do one for you too. And Alex, if you would like one. I don't know who's still listening on Instagram. So, okay, so now this is for Bev. Cleared my cards. Bev. Bev. Oh, forgot to put the assertive card in. Got to make a whole deck, right? So, Bev with the fairies. Okay, so this card right here. Easy does it. Easy does it. Her card is easy does it. And it wanted to jump out. That's why I knew it was hers. Okay, easy does it. And it's about the waves, dancing in the waves, right? Easy does it. So the dolphins are part the fae, right? Stop trying so hard to control everything and all the doors will open up for you. Stop trying so hard to control everything and all the doors will open up for you. Isn't that amazing how when we try to do something, when we really try to do it, like if we're trying to find something, right? And we're trying hard to find it. And then we just say, I give up. I give up. And we go on and do something else and we turn around and guess what we find? The thing we were looking for because we were stopped trying so hard, right? Stop trying so hard. So there we go. That was a better view. So there's a fairy jumping in the waves with so easy does it. So E. Front door just opened. I wonder who wanted in. That was interesting. Oh, Samity Baron wanted in. Okay. So I guess my house needs to be cleared. Okay, so easy does it. Okay. Stop trying so hard to control everything, and all doors will open for you. Just as it often rides the waves with joy and ease, so will the waves of your life carry you if you just relax and let everything flow. You drew this card because you've been trying and forcing something to happen, and the underlying fear has created blocks and barriers for you. Take some time to go outside in nature and help you relax. Let go of the situation. Watch how quickly everything you desire occurs. Additional meanings for this card: relax and have faith. Go play. Contact, connect with the dolphins. Take a sea salt bath. Go for a swim. Get out of your own way. So I hope that helps. And I feel like I hope that helps, Bev and Veronica. I do hope that helps, because that was good to hear in general, especially on our general conversation that we were just having. So I feel like you know what? I'm going to do the Wisdom of Oracle card. So this is a card for everyone, since nobody else has spoken up. And I still have a few more minutes. So I'm going to do the Wisdom of the Oracle cards. The Wisdom of Avalon. So this is for the intention for everyone. Everyone having that intention. Whoa. Okay, I guess you want me to stop here. Oh, 2 cards. Oh, no, 3. Okay. So with that, okay, the first one is disruption. Disruption is the first card that came out of that deck. And isn't that a path? Okay. And then the horse. I love the horse. So the horse is about accepting help from another, delegating authority. Okay. And then the cow came along. You're very welcome, Bev and Veronica. You're very welcome. And then this one, nourishment, abundance, asking for and receiving. So the cow. The cow. So let's see here. Disruption. I'm going to read about disruption. What number is that one? 39. Disruption. This maker warns you to shake the foundation place on a fault line. At best, it reminds you to shake up, that shakeups are necessarily when you need to wake up call. I'm going to start all over because that didn't really make any sense. Okay. This marker, because it's a marker, right, on the path of life, right, warns of a shaky foundation placed on the fault line. At best, this reminds you that shakeups are necessary when you need a wake-up call. It is a warning for you to be diligent and alert when making decisions. This can also portend to a toppling of the plans or ideas, or total destruction, or something hard won, worked for, or desired. Okay, I'm sorry I'm not reading this very well. I'm going to start all over. Marker warns you to be shaky foundation and the fault line. The best reminds you that when a shakeup is necessary, it's to give you a wake-up call. Okay. This can also pertain to toppling of plans or ideas and the destruction of something hard won or worked on or desired. Be reminded that the way of the god or goddess is one of mystery and chaos. Chaos is the ultimate cleanser. Disruption brings delays and upsets that have of a hidden gift or opportunity within them. This is the time to rethink, rebuild, or refortify that which was previously unstable, or it allows you to begin anew. Without this gift, you wouldn't be adequate support for later on when you need it most. The greater message reminds you that in life, all people, places, and concepts and things are but fleeting on the path of a wholeness. Only spirit is stable and eternal. Such is the wisdom of the Avalon. So, in other words, going through shakeups, we're going through shakeup right now. It's kind of like a plant coming out of the unearthing, coming out to bloom. It's kind of like how the caterpillar has to go disruption to become the butterfly, right? So the disruption helps that moment to come forward. Because you never know, kind of like when we get delayed somewhere and we find out that the person we were delayed, and then we were trying to meet up with somebody and come to find out that they were late too. And if we would have gotten there early, that we would have been in the midst of a big hahoo in the restaurant or something. So everything happens for a reason. I just trust that. I do. 26, the horse. 26, the horse. Okay, the horse. Accepting help from another, delegating authority. The horse appears on the path to offer assistance. If you're asking the question about your life, the horse says that you will indeed receive help from another to aid you in your quest. Too often, do you refuse help from others? Do you sometimes feel that although you give to others, no one helps you? Well, you don't have to walk the whole way alone. You can get help. The horse appears to remind you that assistance is the asking. Sometimes you need to be carried to get to your destination. Trust that when the horse appears, help is yours. Remember to ask for it, and also remember to accept it when it's offered. And Bev, I want to say thank you for trusting me with your family. I love doing sessions for people to help them along the way. So get help along the way. Okay, so that was the horse. Now for the cow. The cow, isn't it amazing? They're about digesting life. They have 4 tummies, right? They're about digesting our life. And our digestive system is about digesting our life. A cow is also about eating and chewing grass, right? It's about nourishment, finding the nourishment. And it's about community. Because cows and horses like to be with each other, right? Or with their like. So 20. So cow. Nourishment, abundance, asking and receiving. Cow says, take my milk. I can always feed you. I'll eat grass of the god and goddesses, and in turn pass good fortune to you. Nourishment is never ending when I appear on your path. Don't forget to till the soil so that grass may grow. Abundance is made manifest out of the universal system. Do you part, and I will do your part, and I will do mine with joy. Ask, and you will receive all the blessings I have. Cow reminds you that there is no shortage of blessings in the world. Ask to partake in infinite abundance, and you will indeed get exactly what you need. Isn't that amazing? Be careful what you're thinking, because you may just receive it, right? We have abundance. The cow is asking, so we're having disruption. I love sentences like this. We have disruption, right, to get us to go to the greater good, to rethink things, to reapply, to make sure that our foundation is stronger than what we thought it was, because sometimes we make fleeting decisions and we didn't make a strong decision, right? And so disruption is there for us to find out more information, because we need the horse to go. And If you give a horse its head, it will get you home. It will find water. It will give you what it needs. So a horse, you trust the greater picture, the horse, right? The community of it. Sometimes it needs to run out of fear and flight. Sometimes it needs to hand its seat. If you know you want to go up and down a hill, a horse will get you there if you give it its head. So trust the process, right? Because the cow is promising nourishment. But you have to be willing to till the soil, to grow the grass, to give the cow its nourishment so that you can get it in receiving. So it's that full circle, right? The full circle. Sometimes a cow has to take it out of its stomach, come back and rechew it, rechew that idea. But isn't that disruption? Rechewing the idea, rethinking the idea, right? To get our nourishment. I do hope this helps you. And remember that when your mind is running, there is tools. Use your fingers. Use a rock. Use a metaphorical animal to take things away. Write things down and find out the parts of you at a round table. Sit down at a round table metaphorically and ask your soul, your body, and your mind and your emotions to be a part of your team. I do hope this helps you. I am live every Monday and Wednesday at 4 o'clock Pacific time on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and on Instagram on Wednesdays if I don't have a guest. So with that, blessings to you. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you're there, because the fact that I do love to bring inspirations to this world. It sometimes feels like it's flipped upside down in disruption. Blessings to you. Bye now. Have a blessing week. And remember, you can receive if you ask for it. Bye now.